This is the story of every U.S. submarine used in World War II, from early experiments to the machines that ruled the deep. S-class submarines. The S-class submarines were built at the end of World War I, long before anyone imagined another global conflict. By 1941, they were outdated but still in service. Narwhal-class submarines. The Narwhal-class submarines were massive by the standards of their time. Their size allowed exceptional range and endurance. Cachalot-class submarines. The Cachalot class continued this transition, compact, efficient, and purpose-built for long patrols. Porpoise-class submarines. With the Porpoise class, the U.S. Navy finally found balance. These submarines offered improved endurance, better habitability, and dependable performance. Salmon-class submarines. The Salmon class introduced more power and better fire control. They were designed for long-range combat and entered service just before the war. Sargo-class submarines. The Sargo class refined the Salmon design. Stronger engines, better endurance, and improved layouts made them more effective. These submarines carried the U.S. submarine force through the difficult early years of the war. GAR-class submarines. The GAR class was a small continuation of the Tambor design, built to refine what already worked. They featured improved internal layouts and minor mechanical upgrades. Gato-class submarines. The Gato-class submarines became the symbol of American submarine warfare. These submarines were fast, long-ranged, heavily armed, and capable of extended patrols deep into enemy-controlled waters.
USS Gudgeon. USS Gudgeon was one of the earliest American submarines to carry the war directly into enemy waters. Operating aggressively in the opening months, she delivered some of the first successful submarine attacks of the conflict. USS S-44. USS S-44 was already considered outdated when war began, yet she fought with extraordinary determination. Despite her slower speed and limited endurance, S-44 scored one of the most surprising submarine victories of the war. USS Grunion. USS Grunion operated in some of the most dangerous waters of the Pacific, pressing close to enemy-controlled islands. She attacked aggressively and without hesitation, disrupting supply routes and coastal defenses. USS S-27. USS S-27 belonged to an earlier generation of submarines, designed long before the war's demands were fully understood. Yet she performed vital patrol and defense duties during the critical early phase of the conflict. USS Nautilus. USS Nautilus was a massive cruiser submarine built for long-range missions and independent operations. Equipped with heavy deck guns and exceptional endurance, Nautilus supported special missions and coastal attacks that smaller submarines could not attempt. USS Bowfin. USS Bowfin earned a reputation as one of the most effective fleet submarines of the war. Operating deep in enemy waters, it struck shipping lanes with relentless precision. Known today as the Pearl Harbor Avenger, this was the class that turned undersea warfare into a sustained campaign. Balao-class submarines. The Balao class was a direct improvement on the Gato design. Its most important upgrade was a stronger pressure hull, allowing deeper dives and greater survivability. This single change dramatically increased combat effectiveness. O-class submarines. The O-class submarines were early attempts at creating a standardized undersea fleet. Reliability was a constant challenge, and operational limitations were obvious. By World War II, most O-class boats had been reassigned to training duties. Here, crews practiced submerged navigation, emergency drills, and discipline under pressure. Though rarely sent into combat, their role was critical behind the scenes. They shaped experience, not headlines. R-class submarines. Designed for coastal defense, the R-class submarines were sturdier and more dependable than earlier designs.
During the war, they patrolled strategic waters, trained crews, and filled security roles that allowed newer submarines to operate farther from home. They lacked long-range capability, but they delivered consistency and reliability. Quiet guardians of American waters. Barracuda/V-boat class. The V-boats, including the Barracuda-type submarines, were ambitious experiments. Larger, more complex, and more heavily armed, they were designed to test long-range operations. These submarines revealed both possibilities and problems. Range came at the cost of reliability. Still, every flaw became a lesson. The V-boats helped engineers understand what a true ocean-going submarine should be. They were stepping stones, not final answers. Tench-class submarines, late war entry. The Tench-class submarines arrived near the end of the war. They were the most refined non-nuclear submarines of the conflict. Everything learned from earlier classes was incorporated: better internal arrangements, improved systems, and stronger hull design. While they arrived too late to fully shape the war, they represented the peak of WW2 submarine engineering. They were the final expression of the fleet submarine concept. By now, American submarines were no longer learning. They were dominating, and the silent war was reaching its most deadly phase. Tambor-class submarines. The Tambor-class submarines marked the true birth of the American fleet submarine. For the first time, range, firepower, speed, and endurance came together in a balanced design. These boats could operate far from base, remain on patrol for long periods, and deliver coordinated attacks. They introduced better command spaces, improved torpedo rooms, and more effective bridge layouts. Tambor-class submarines were present from the opening months of the war. They did not just fight, they proved the concept that would define U.S. submarine warfare for the rest of WW2. Balao class, surviving the counterattack. The Balao class thrived during the most dangerous phase of the submarine war. As enemy anti-submarine measures improved, deeper diving capability became essential. Balao boats survived intense depth-charge attacks that would have destroyed earlier submarines. Their stronger hulls gave crews precious seconds to escape, hide, and return to the fight. 1. The lessons learned beneath the waves would influence naval strategy for generations to come. This was the silent service. This was the unseen war. And this is the complete story of U.S. submarines in World War II.